Hello everyone. In this session, we will discuss the Module 1 questions asked in the previous years. Module 1 topics are given in the slide. Uh, as you know, there are two chapters, key enablers for LTE features and wireless fundamentals. And for Module 1, you have to refer textbook fundamentals of LTE. First chapter is key enablers for LTE features. In this session, we have discussed several important radio and core network technologies that are used in the LTE. And then the key enabling technologies are OFDM, then single carrier frequency division multiple access, single carrier frequency domain equalization, then channel dependent multi-user resource scheduling, multi-antenna techniques, IP based flat network architecture, etc. And these are included in the section 1.4. And then we have discussed LTE network architecture, and this is covered in the section 1.5. And in this we have discussed end-to-end architecture of the LTE network. And second chapter is wireless fundamentals. In this we have discussed about wireless channels and systems. This includes key properties and parameters of wireless channels. In the cellular concept topic, we have discussed hexagonal cellular system. Then we have seen how interference from neighboring cells can be reduced through sectoring and frequency reuse methods. Then in section 2.4, we have discussed the fading channel effects in the broadband wireless channel. Here we have understood the broadband fading parameters like delay spread, coherence bandwidth, then Doppler spread, coherence time, etc. And then in modeling broadband wireless channels, we have discussed various statistical channel models, namely relay fading, then Rician distribution channel, then Nakagami M fading channel model, etc. And then also we have developed a model for time, frequency and spatial correlation. Then we have discussed about empirical channel models developed by considering specific wireless propagation environment. And in section 2.6 we have discussed various methods that are used to overcome narrowband fading, namely methods like spatial diversity, then coding and interleaving, adaptive modulation and coding, AMC, etc. And in the last topic, we have discussed some of the techniques used for mitigation of intersymbol interference and broadband fading, like equalization, then multi-user modulation, etc. Next, these are the topics. Next, in the next slide, we will discuss some of the important questions that are asked in the previous year question paper. Okay, first question: explain the advantages of OFDM for LTE. Question is taken from June, July 19, December 2019, January 2020 question paper. It is 8-mark question. Here you mention 8 to 9 advantages of OFDM for LTE, and then explain each advantage. Okay, first one is elegant solution to multipath interference. As you know, in OFDM, subcarriers are orthogonal to one another over the symbol duration. Using this, multipath delay spread can be reduced, and inter-symbol interference also can be reduced. These points we need to explain. and second one is reduced computational complexity. This can be achieved using FFT and IFFT. And then graceful degradation of performance under excess delay. Here we need to explain about adaptive modulation and coding, and then exploitation of frequency diversity. Here coding and interleaving to reduce burst errors is a, that we need to explain. And then it enables efficient multi-axis scheme. Explain about orthogonal frequency division multiple axis and multiple axis schemes. And then next point is robust against narrowband interference. Here we need to explain how it is useful against interference, especially narrowband interference. And then suitable for coherent demodulation. Here explain about pilot based channel estimation of OFDM. And then it facilitates use of MIMO, multiple input multiple output. Explain about multiple antenna techniques. And ninth advantage is efficient support of broadcast service. Here a high data rate broadcast is achieved. How this high data rate broadcast is achieved by using OFDM network as a single frequency network, that we need to explain. Okay, second question is explain flat LTE system architecture evolution architecture, SAE architecture. This is from June-July 2019 question paper. Again it is 8-mark question. Okay, draw the block diagram and explain it. Block diagram is shown here. This shows the evolution of 3GPP network architecture from 2G, that is release 6 up to release 8, 2G to LTE 4G. As you can see here, in the LTE we have fewer number of interfaces, fewer nodes, and a less hierarchical structure for the network. Therefore it is a flat architecture. Here voice and all other services are supported on the IP packet network. And then you explain how this network architecture has evolved from 2G to 4G. Next, third question, explain the following in brief: path loss and shadowing, angular spread and coherence distance, Doppler spread and coherence time. This question is from June-July 2019, 9-mark question. Here give the definition of all these terminologies and then explain it. For path loss, give the equation received power PR equal to transmitted power PT into measured power at a distance of D naught, that is P naught into D naught by distance D to the power alpha. So PR equal to PT P naught into D naught by D to the power alpha. So here alpha is the path loss exponent. And give the definition of path loss and then explain how this path loss occurs. And also for shadowing, explain how shadowing can cause large deviation from path loss predictions. And then about angular spread and coherence time. And this angular spread, it refers to the statistical distribution of angle of the arriving energy. Explain it. Then coherence distance is the spatial distance over which the channel does not change. Explain this coherence distance and give the equation which relates coherence distance and angular spread. Equation is coherence distance, that is DC approximately equal to 2 lambda divided by angular spread theta RMS. Then about Doppler spread and coherence time. This Doppler spread is the range of frequency over which the received Doppler spectrum is non-zero. Then write the equation of Doppler spread. Maximum FD, maximum Doppler frequency, equal to V into Fc divided by C. Give this equation, and then give the definition of coherence time. This coherence time is the time duration over which the channel impulse response is essentially invariant. Explain this coherence time, and then give the equation. Also give the equation which relates Doppler spread and coherence time, and that equation is Tc equal to 1 by Fd. So for each terminology you need to give definition and explain, and also write all the required equations. Next, explain with the need diagram adaptive modulation and coding, AMC. Question is from June-July 2019 question paper, and it was asked for 9 mark. This topic, it comes under mitigation of narrowband interference. First, draw the block diagram representation which explains adaptive modulation and coding process, and then explain the operation. And this technique, it is used to take advantage of fluctuations in the channel over time and frequency. Then give the basic idea of adaptive modulation and coding, that is how to select various modulation and coding scheme based on the channel condition. That is how to increase the data rate, how to reduce the data rate, what type of modulation scheme and channel coding schemes are required to satisfy the channel condition. This we need to explain. And in LTE we use quadrature phase shift keying, QPSK, and various versions of QAM modulation. Also for channel coding we use turbo coding with different code rates. This code rate, again, it depends on the channel SINR, signal to interference noise ratio. So explain it. Okay, next is discuss the delay spread and coherence bandwidth with relevant expressions. This question is from December 19th, January 2020 question paper. It was asked for 8 marks. This topic is covered in chapter 2 of module 1, and this delay spread and coherence bandwidth are wireless channel parameters. Write the definition, give the equation for delay spread and coherence bandwidth, and then explain it. Okay, delay spread is the amount of time between the first arriving path and the last arriving path. Give the equation V equal to tau max divided by Ts, and then coherence bandwidth is the statistical measurement of the range of frequency over which the channel is flat. Then explain about coherence bandwidth. Then write the relation between delay spread and coherence bandwidth, that is coherence bandwidth BC equal to 1 by 5 times tau RMS, and this is equal to 1 by tau max. Okay, next question is write the block diagram of end-to-end architecture of evolved packet core, EPC, supporting current and legacy radio access networks, and discuss the elements of EPC. This is from December 19 January 2020 question paper, and question is for 8 mark. So here first you draw the block diagram which represents EPC, and then explain each elements of the EPC. So this evolved packet architecture, it is shown in the diagram. This evolved packet core, it supports
both current radio access network, that means LTE 4G network, and legacy radio access networks, that is 2G and 3G systems. Okay, this block diagram, it shows evolved packet core architecture. This EPC is designed to provide high capacity, reduced latency, flat IP based network architecture. Then mention the four new elements of the EPC, namely serving gateway SGW, then packet data network gateway PGW, mobility management entity MME, then policy and charging rules function PCRF, and then explain each of them. Okay, next question. Consider a user in downlink of a cellular system where the desired base station is at a distance of 0.5 km and the interfering base stations B1 and B2 located at a distance of 1 km, B3, B4 and B5 located at a distance of 2 km, B6 to B11 treated at a distance of 2.66 km. Each of the station transmits power at the same level. Find the SIR, signal to interference ratio, when the path loss exponent alpha equal to 3 and also when alpha equal to 5. This is from December 2019, January 2020 question paper, and it was asked for 8 marks. So here first write the equation for received power. PR equal to PT P naught D naught by D to the power alpha. PR is the received power, PT is the transmitted power, D is the distance from the base station, alpha is the path loss exponent, and P naught is the reference power at a distance of D naught. So here transmitted power is not given, but it is given that from all the base stations equal amount of power will be transmitted. Then P naught and D naught values are not given, but distance from base station D is given, and also alpha value, it is given as 3 and 5. So here first consider alpha equal to 3, and for this path loss exponent find desired power and the interference power. Then desired power divided by interference power, it gives SIR. Okay, very simple problem. Okay, first the desired base station, it is located at a distance of 0.5 km. So D equal to 0.5, substitute it in the PR equation. So PRD equal to PT P naught D naught to the power 3, 1 by 0.5 to the power 3. So this is the desired power. Next, suppose there is only one interfering base station, then what will be the interfering power? PRI equal to, again we need to use the same equation. So PRI equal to PT P naught D naught by D to the power alpha. But it is given that there are altogether 11 interfering base stations, B1, B2 located at a distance of 1 km, B3, B4, B5 located at a distance of 2 km, then B6 to B11, that is B6, B7, B8, B9, B10 and B11. These are located at a distance of 2.66 km. That means there are 11 interfering base stations. Therefore, the overall interference power PRI, it is the total interference caused by all these 11 base stations, right? Okay. Next, consider different cases, B1 and B2 located at a distance of 1 km. Then PRI will be PT P naught D naught to the power 3, 2 into 1 by 1 to the power 3. Next, B3, B4, B5 located at a distance of 2 km. Now D equal to 2. Therefore, now PRI will be PT P naught D naught to the power 3 into 3 into 1 by 2 to the power 3, because there are 3 base stations, right? Next, B6 to B11 treated at a distance of 2.66 km. Now what will be the interference power? PT P naught D naught to the power 3 into 6 into 1 by 2.66 to the power 3. Now you combine all this interference power. Total interference power will be PT P naught D naught to the power 3 into 2 into 1 by 1 to the power 3 plus 3 into 1 by 2 to the power 3 plus 6 into 1 by 2.66 to the power 3. So, this is the total interference power. Now, what is the signal to interference power for alpha equal to 3? It is a total desired power divided by total interference power. Solve it. Next, again repeat the same procedure for alpha equal to 5. So, this is the solution. Okay. Thank you.